Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the General Hospital recap for August 17th through 21st. Yep, 2026. We have only a couple Port Charles pipelines. Nobody wrote in letting us know which they would rather. Like if we get a ton of Port Charles pipelines, should we do it as a bonus episode or should we just keep it at the beginning? So right now we're going to keep it at the beginning. I do think if maybe we get a lot one week, maybe we'll just do that. We'll just do it as like a little bonus episode. Yeah. Also see how the rest of the episode goes though too. So, and also Amanda and I did not plan to wear the same color tonight.
We just love to be matchy-matchy.
Yep. And so we did get, somebody, I'm so sorry. I had it up and then I had to restart my computer on Spotify. Doug sent us the links for Port Charles and Night Shift. And
that's awesome.
I swear to you guys, first of all, you all know that we watch this stuff and we research this stuff and we look for it. Both of the links that he sent us are they should have been there when we were looking. I don't know how, it's clearly marked. We found the cartel, okay? We found the Aztec Princess. How we didn't find those two, especially when we were watching Night Shift in 2020, I don't know.
Right.
We watched that. We both bought that. We both had that DVD.
We did. Mm-hmm.
But we still looked for it.
But we looked for it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like we looked to buy it and we couldn't find it. And then we looked on YouTube. And at the time we could find episodes here and there, but we couldn't find the complete series. So we didn't even want to bother with it. So the fact that he found all of it, awesome. Cool. Thanks, Doug.
Yes, we'll give that a watch. Because I especially, now that I just learned that like Port Charles had like the 13-week book arc, like that just sounds really cool to me. You know, that to know that that story is only going to be so long. I love our show because you don't know how many years things are going to go on for, but sometimes,
even though it's frustrating.
Right. Well, sometimes they're okay, you know, but then other times like this Curtis and Portia and this whole thing like took forever and way too long. It would have been nice for this to have been a 13-week arc that we would have known, you know what? In 10 weeks, this is going to be over no matter what. So,
yes.
And speaking of the Curtis Portia, on our fan roundtable, we talked about somebody gave the idea for Curtis and Portia to name their baby boy Marshall Henry Ashford after Marshall and Aunt Stella. It was Amber, and she had written that on our Spotify comments. So I apologize for misremembering who it was.
Right.
So I actually couldn't remember. I just kept spitting out names. So I
somebody
apologize,
said
Amber.
It was.
I did not spit out your name.
But it was a great idea. I'm sad that they did not go with that.
And then Sherry wrote us a couple times and said she just found out that Bradford does a hilarious spoilers for the week video, which is funny because she wrote this on Tuesday and we talked about it during our roundtable on August 1st. So Sherry, you definitely heard about us talking about the reason why I don't listen to their show anymore or really follow them on social is because of the spoilers.
Yeah.
But I don't think it gave anything away, but if you want to listen to them, you can do Friday after you watch the shows. Here's the week of the 17th through 21st. Do you want to watch it?
I mean, sure. I don't care.
I don't know how long it is. Hold on.
I was going to say, I don't know that it's quick.
It's 2.5 minutes.
Okay, that's not bad. I thought it was more like 6.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me get a better still shot for him. Okay.
Don't be making Bradford mad because you're putting up some distorted picture of him.
I know. All right, let me unmute. Okay.
Surprise visits. Another great week on General Hospital.
Hold on, we'll get.
Shocking news. Unexpected offers. Surprise visits. Another great week on General Hospital. Gracious greetings, friends. It's Friday night in California. I'm so delighted to be spending this time with you. Here in my hands are the General Hospital spoilers for the week of August 17th. Carly enlists a new ally. I guess Jason was busy. Josslyn wants Michael's assistance. Michael is very helpful with the muscles of the jaw. Oh my God. Lucas and Joe bond. Okay. Brook Lynn is floored. Hope someone picked her up. Marina pushes back. I wonder who pushed her first. Tuesday, August 18th, Jason's news shocks Britt. Maybe it's that Anna wants to kill her. Anna and Sonny find common ground. Wait, Sonny wants to kill Britt too? Josslyn inadvertently says too much. Oh no, she said too much. Lucy is rattled. I bet she has an outfit for that. Ava is concerned for Lucas. If Ava is concerned, Lucas should be too. Wednesday, August 19th, Rick gets an eyeful. Oh. Sonny offers his blessing. Well, a blessing from the Godfather is a big deal. Drew and Nina have a tense encounter, as opposed to their usual whimsical encounters. Jordan receives an unexpected offer. I wonder if it's an offer she can't refuse. I don't think I've ever done that impression. Don't think I'll be doing it again. Kai is uneasy. Telling the truth is hard. Thursday, August 20th, Carly makes a realization. Your guess is as good as mine. Anna introduces Tristan to Josslyn. Well, it's better than meeting on Tinder. Liz opens up to Dante. Speaking of Tinder, Lulu has words with Valentine. Probably a lot of words. So many words. Rick spirals. Wow, that Eiffel must have been quite something. Friday, August 21st, Drew offers an olive branch. Careful, it might be a trap. Ava reassures Portia, hey, your ex-husband going to jail could be good news. Sonny pays a surprise visit. That is rarely good news. Jordan gets a vote of confidence. Well, it's better than a vote of no confidence. Laura makes a request of Rocco. My request of you is to have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you for watching, friends, wherever you're watching. If you're on YouTube, give us a like and a subscribe. If you're on Facebook, give us a like and a share. If you're on TikTok, like and follow. Let's go. As a reminder, tickets to me and Steve's live shows at stonecoldandthejackal.com. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching General Hospital. And friends, I'm delighted to be able to say again, don't be a Drew.
Okay, so I don't know if I really count those as spoilers.
Because he didn't give information. It was just a more entertaining way to read the Hulu headlines.
So we're doing that right this second before we do our 411 because that's what he did.
Okay. Perfect.
Remember how some people said that like on DirecTV or wherever they watch, like they have different ones?
Yeah.
So I wonder if he mixes them together because on Monday, Carly enlists a new ally. Serena pushes back. On Tuesday, Jason's news shocks Britt. Ava is concerned for Lucas. On Wednesday, Rick gets an eyeful. Sonny offers his blessing. On Thursday, Carly makes a realization. Liz opens up to Dante. And on Friday, Drew offers an olive branch and Ava reassures Portia.
Okay.
So that's what, I mean, he had other ones in there, but that's what that was.
Right.
So does the TV Guide still have daily descriptions? Does TV Guide still
a
TV Guide
guide?
still exists? Yeah.
Okay.
TVguide.com, General Hospital. Because remember how they used to have like blurbs in there? Like those I would read, but I didn't consider those spoilers.
My family didn't subscribe to TV Guide because you had to have money to have TV Guide.
Listen, I spent my babysitting money on TV Guide.
Well, you're insane.
I used to collect TV Guide.
Those are very, very expensive. The one summer I spent, so we had a house in Ohio real quick. We had a house in Ohio that we moved out of to move here. And my dad spent time, like they were. My dad spent time there remodeling it to get it nice so that he could sell it for more money. And so I spent like 2 or 3 weeks with him during the summer instead of staying here in Pittsburgh. And I went to the library and got out all the soap opera digests and read all of the past issues of Soap Opera Digest. And I was so happy because that was another overpriced item you could not just buy in the grocery store and justify. Like my mom was not picking those up every week.
Something.
I think they were like $3 something.
I don't think so.
I think they were.
Huh. Cost of TV Guide in 90s.
My Nana had a subscription to the TV Guide, but my mom, she was not spending money on that.
Yeah, so I wonder if he gets the Hulu headlines and whatever DirecTV or whatever else is out there. Because
them up. Nice.
He said every single one of those.
Yep.
It was $1.19. It was 75 cents. And then it went to 89 cents. In 1997, 95 to 97, it was 99 cents. And 98 to 99, it was $1.19.
Oh, I thought it was way more than that because my family was not having it. My mom
Yep.
spent money on all kind of dumb stuff, but she was not spending it on that.
See, it was that. She was spending her money on other dumb things.
Oh, absolutely.
I was spending my 13-year-old babysitting money on Jonathan Taylor Thomas being in the TV Guide.
Okay.
I used to also, I'm sure this is probably really going to shock a lot of people.
Oh, no.
Like, I had a subscription to Entertainment Weekly. I would read that every single week. I don't know when I got rid of that. And like People Magazine, I used to read Reader's Digest. Oh my gosh, I loved Reader's Digest.
I still love Reader's Digest.
Yep.
Can you get real copies of that still?
I don't know.
Or is it all online? Because I used to, that was one of my bathtub magazines. I've talked about before how I can't read books in the bathtub because I will ruin them. So I do magazines, or I did magazines. That was one of my favorite ones, even like being a grown up. My Nana also got Reader's Digest. Apparently my Nana was loaded. I didn't know it. I missed out on some inheritance.
Yeah, it says a small pocket-sized. Does Reader's Digest still have the actual magazine? Yes. However, now it only comes out 6 times a year instead of monthly.
Well, that's disappointing.
Oh, and the international editions have shut down. Yes. But yeah, I mean, I remember when the Beatles anthology came out and they had the 4 different covers because they had one for each guy. And I have all 4. They're in my attic. Mm-hmm.
Of course they are.
But like, okay, but I don't feel like they did, you know how sometimes it's Serena came back as the Hulu headline. I don't feel like they did that back then, that we had so-and-so is coming back or anything like that. I feel like it was closer to Carly enlists a new ally, Jason's news shocks Britt.
Right, there was supposed to be some mystery.
Right. And you would get it like a week ahead of time or 2 weeks ahead of time sometimes. And gosh, that was such a great time.
We're so old.
I have to get a highlighter and just highlight. Like, it was the best. Why did we take advantage of it? Okay. Also, guys, we had we had a good number of people reach out regarding helping us grow the podcast. So thank you.
Awesome.
It was great. So we definitely have kind of a lot of options to go through. We did have a submission for my suggestion for your pipeline segment is to place it after you discuss the week in Port Charles and before your reality check. Kind of the opposite of church announcements. Give the sermon first, giving people what they came to for you right away. And then the rest of us can keep on listening to the extra content that after they've moved on. I think it'll be especially helpful for new listeners too. Sometimes when I start a new podcast, I get impatient for the promised content. When the host talk too long about other stuff, it's like showing up in the middle of a conversation between strangers. That's me anyway. Either way, I'm sure I won't be the only one who'll be listening to your entire episode, no matter the format. And that's the thing. So we do. So Phyllis, first of all, it sounds like you're a newer listener. Thank you for listening. We do from time to time at the beginning of the show, go over the format of our show. And I feel like it's really only like 2 or 3 times a year. So maybe we need to start doing that more. So this is where I get torn though, because oftentimes we're able to bring in the conversation, like the information that we get in the Port Charles pipeline. Right. It leads us to where we're going to start or what other people are thinking, or it starts our brains flowing. But we got feedback.
Awesome.
Yes. So I apologize. It was done through a contact submission on the website. So I apologize that I had it snoozed, but I hadn't read it. So another one from Sherry. What if Joss gives JJE CEO to Jason and he hires Maxie to run the day-to-day since she is in Australia?
Gosh, that makes like way too much sense.
And she doesn't have anything to do.
Yeah.
That
would be beautiful.
Sense. Yep. And then she also wrote in suggesting that for another 411, we do another one of the Soras episodes. And girl, you are a mind reader because that's what we had decided to do.
Yep.
So thank you. This upcoming Thursday, we will be doing another segment of the Soras characters of the show. Wow, we're all out of whack today because we just did the Hulu headlines, but it was because that's literally what Bradford did. So thank you, Bradford. All right, where do you want to start?
I don't know that there's much to say about it, but I was totally confused starting off this week. Because you know how if you're watching something and it ends, it like rolls into something else on Hulu? So we were watching Jeopardy and we finished Jeopardy and it rolled into We always watch Jeopardy. Don't make that face at me.
No, I'm wondering how you were confused between GH and Jeopardy.
Because Jeopardy ended and it
Two
rolls
totally different.
It just happened that was what one rolled into the other. So Jeopardy ended, it rolled into GH, but I wasn't ready for my GH. And so I had that few minutes and I'm like, no, stop. I'm not ready for this. But that was whenever Lucas was standing at the nurse's station and Joe walked in and they're talking about the game and how Joe's team cheated or whatever. And so I'm not listening for real because I don't want to watch it yet. And Joe says something about how their team won. And I hear Lucas say, I like women as much as the next guy, but only if it's done right. And I'm like, what? Lucas just
winning. Winning.
Mm-hmm. I could not watch it in that moment because it was not GH time. So when I went back the next day to watch it, I started it over. And then I heard I like winning as much as, and I was like, that makes more sense. Thank you, Lucas. Okay. Because I'm like, does he not like Joe? He's not trying to let him know? Like, why is he saying he likes win? And what does that have to do with this game?
Right. So you've never heard the baseball analogies when it comes to relationships then?
I mean, I guess I have, but I don't think that someone who goes for the same sex is saying they like the opposite sex. That would be confusing.
That's funny, though.
So, yeah, I was very confused. And then, made way more sense when I actually sat down to watch it.
So we just want to talk about how crazy, like that was so obvious from the beginning. Come on. As soon as Joe said last week, or was that today? Or that this week, that, yeah, I found an apartment I'm going to look at one later if that was on your list. Come on.
It was this week. Yes.
Yeah.
Because, okay, first of all, Lucas is very nice and it's very nice to share your list. I'm not giving out my list until I've looked at all of those apartments and made my decision. And then I'm going to say there was 10 on my list. Now there's 9. Here you go. So he gave him the list before he went and looked at all of them. And then
I didn't think I thought I was under the impression that he gave him what he was not interested in. Like that's how I felt it was even presented when he gave it to him was, I've looked at them. They're not really for me, but maybe you'll find something.
Right. They weren't awful.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah.
And then we hear Lucas talking about how he found the perfect place and it's wonderful and he loves it, but he doesn't say which apartment it is. And then, oh no, shocking. Lucy takes to show Joe the exact same apartment. And I'm like, really? I'm sorry. I'm not understanding why Lucy does real estate and all the deception because they both seem like too much of a full-time job to try to do both, but whatever. You don't have it marked. And I know she gave the explanation, like the app is crashing. I don't know why this isn't here, but I have the exclusive rights. So here you go, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like,
that was the part that killed me.
Actually happened.
She said it was her exclusive listing.
Somebody else going to buy my house at the same time I do because your app crashed?
Okay. So it's so many issues this week with all of that. In Pennsylvania, if I can help with rental properties, and if you're looking for a rental property and you're interested, you submit an application, you have to go through the same exact process of whatever that process is for that property. But the thing is, they only process one application at a time. So first come, first serve. Doesn't matter who you are. It's if Amanda's interested, even if you are so not qualified for it, if you're interested in it, you have to be formally rejected before they can move on to the next person. At least that's how it is done where I am and in how we do ours. So, I mean, it also could be different in other areas of the state. I don't know, but this is what we do. She should have known there was already an application, and especially where it's her. Because at first I was like, well, maybe it's not her listing. So maybe the other agent didn't communicate with her and didn't cancel her showing. Because I mean, I just had that. I had a showing. I had 2 showings scheduled for an evening. And sure enough, that afternoon, one of the houses just went under agreement.
Oh.
And usually, so I told my buyers, I said, it must have been a good enough offer that they just accepted it and shut off showings.
Right.
It happens. I said, however, usually if it was me, I would be reaching out to the other agent and say, hey, just wanted to let you know, like we're even in negotiations. If your buyers are interested, can they get to see it sooner? Can they get to see it, whatever? Because we had actually scheduled it a few days out, but it was that day. So not whatever, but like I wasn't the one receiving the information on behalf of the person selling the home, like the seller.
Right.
Lucy then says she has the exclusive listing.
Yep.
Which means
Everything
she
had to have gone
is
through her.
the agent.
Yep.
So then she also says, hold it, we're going to go down to, where was it? What did she say?
She didn't run the background check.
Yeah, because he's a
A
cop.
cop.
You want to know who else was a cop? The Golden State Killer, who was also known as the East End rapist, East End rapist, before he was known as the Golden State Killer, because guess what he did? Oh, he escalated.
Keep watching
But you're
things that I
a cop,
know
so it's
are
okay.
going to make you angry. Because that's all I was thinking. I was like, this is so stupid. We all saw this coming, but it shouldn't be happening. And I can't wait for Shannon to get so mad about how absurd it is.
So she said, because you're here, it'll be easier to do e-signatures. You know what's also easy to do in person? Wet signatures. You bring the paperwork with you, especially where it's a standard lease. Like it's a rental. You can actually negotiate rentals, at least here. You can negotiate, but it's not typical that you really have that much wiggle room, you know? But
Right, but that's where
here's the rent, here's the deposit, here's the terms, boom, sign.
that's where their issue, or they're going to pretend like their issue came through, is that Lucas is going to have gone with someone that didn't have an iPad. So it was a wet signature and Joe did an e-signature. But Lucas would have still been first, and that's what would matter.
He has the keys.
Right?
So somebody had to give him those keys. No. No.
I loved it. I loved it just to hear you be mad.
It's just frustrating because like there are certain things. I mean, absolutely. Like every single state does it differently, but come on, you're one of our first of all, he's also new to the area. I could see if it was Lucas that she'd be like, I have known you since you were born. I'm not going to do a background check on you. Okay. Hey, new detective that we don't know anything about.
Mm-hmm.
And you just grilled me about my statement against Willow. But it really was. It was the e-signature that bothered me and the background check part, because my immediate thought was like, they can't be serial killers. All right. You talk about all the rest of it.
Well, then we didn't see them again, right? Like we didn't even get to see them run into each other.
Well, and that's the thing. So Joe was, okay, so wait, go back to Ava or Lucas and Ava.
So, Lucas and Ava are sitting down having the conversation. He's telling her he found a place and she's like, why would you want to rent there? She's like ripping it apart. And he says, well, you need to come see it and then you'll just love it. And so she agrees to go see it. And then before that, we saw Lucy with Joe and he said, well, since it's mine, I'm going to stay here and take some measurements. And she said, okay, that's fine. I'll just leave you alone here. It's not a big deal. Bye, see ya. And left.
With no keys.
So,
with no keys,
right?
So,
exactly. So he, I'm assuming, is in the bedroom still taking
Lucy's
measurements.
gonna lose her license.
Whenever, no, because she's the only real estate agent in town, but somehow Lucas has a different one to cause this confusion.
No. He said he didn't go to Lucy. He went with Liz.
Oh, right. Okay. So it was like the leasing office or whatever.
Well, but that's where I'm confused, because it also should still be through Lucy. Like when I had rentals, that's who the contact was for all the applications and background checks.
So then he says to Ava, let's go check it out. And so she goes and looks at it and she gets kind of sad because he's going to leave and she's going to miss their conversations and whatever. But overall, it's a nice apartment, but we never see Joe come out of the bedroom for them to have the, what are you doing here? Why are you in my apartment?
Detective would have heard?
Right?
Oh my gosh. I guess that place is huge.
It must be. I mean, it's 2 bedrooms, so he was like lost in the far back bedroom.
And he's taking measurements after he's already signed the lease. Don't you want to make sure your stuff fits?
Maybe he has to buy all new stuff because he was staying at Bobby's.
That's true. And that room is small. So yes, anything that fits in Bobby's, and that's a rented bed. So yeah. Okay.
Yep. So he's going to buy new stuff. That's my justification for it. But anyway.
That works. I like that.
Yeah. Shannon's going to be so mad and this doesn't even make sense.
It was real paper still exists.
It does. Yep. I don't know what else happened Monday because I was totally stuck. I made a note of every day what annoyed me, and that was pretty much all my notes.
Chase found Willow moving into the gatehouse, and Yuri was helping her with the boxes. And then Yuri left, and left shirtless Chase.
First of all, Yuri's not stupid. So even if Tracy hadn't said directly to him yet, hey, watch this, he knows that there's drama there and to pay attention. So Willow's like, oh, Yuri, I don't want to hold you up anymore. You can go back to the main house while Chase is there shirtless. And he's like, oh, yeah, they always need me at the main house. Really? What do they need you for, Yuri? You can help continue moving stuff in. You shouldn't have left them alone. And then he gets back to the main house and Tracy's like, oh yeah, if you notice them together. And he's like, they've already been together. He's down there right now.
And there was a second where, well, I did like that Yuri told Willow that I felt like he was kind of positioning, Michael asked Tracy. Tracy said, yes, I love Tracy, so I'm helping you. Because like that's the chain of events here.
Yep.
I felt like he kind of said that. But then when Chase got there and then Yuri left, for a second, it looked like Chase was going to leave because it looked like he felt uncomfortable. And then he just didn't. And then
Well,
he
'cause
used
she
his
had
detective
that-
skills to find Mrs. Bear.
Right. I was going to say, because she had that emergency that she couldn't find the bear and Amelia wasn't going to sleep without it. And so, you need a detective to find a missing stuffed animal.
I mean, he
Okay.
wasn't entirely wrong with the whole, well, the movers might, but also, wait a second, what kind of movers are you hiring if they're sticking your child's stuffed animal in between breakables?
Right. Right. Because if they would have broken, your child's bear now has a shard of glass in it.
Right.
Okay. That sounds great. Yeah. No. And then he admitted he
I might
wasn't
stuff
using his
towels.
detective.
Sure.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's a not, you don't want to replace all your towels either, but
Yes.
versus child's teddy bear that they cannot sleep without. Yeah.
Yep. But then he said he didn't really use his detective skills anyway. He was just like, oh, it's the next box that I opened. Okay.
And they
Chase,
both,
thanks.
and she says to them that she's glad that he's there too, because they both know what it's like to feel like outsiders in the family.
Right.
Really. Oh, and she told him that Michael broke up with Jacinda.
Yes.
And so and that's why she moved there, was because he broke up with Jacinda. And so that way now the kids can spend more time with him.
Mm-hmm. And she won't have to be far away from them. And that's whenever Chase goes into, it's like split personality. He stands there and is like, oh yeah, I could never be away from Phoebe. I understand what you must have been going through. I don't know how you survived that. And then he's sitting there being all flirty and cute with her, totally putting his marriage in jeopardy. Which one is it, dude?
And then Brook Lynn walks down and sees.
Yep.
But she brought her an orchid.
Yes, because Tracy told her what was going on. And then she's like, grandmother, why would you let that happen? And Tracy's like, well, he pulled the Monica card. I couldn't say no. So
Yep.
She went down there and here, I brought you a flower to spruce the place up. Now we have somewhere to go. Like, let's move on, Chase. And then he apologizes.
I wonder if Brook Lynn I was waiting for Brook Lynn to put like a little camera or something in the orchid.
That would have been great. I hope she did. I didn't even think of that.
I was thinking about that, but then I wasn't even thinking about the fact of what happened with Kai later in the week.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about it. Like, I literally just thought about it right now. Like, what if she brought that down for that? Oh.
That would be beautiful. I was wondering if Kai had his cell phone like recording, because that would have been smart, but I don't think that he did. I wanted him to. I wanted to call him up. Hey, Kai, turn on the recorder on your phone.
Yep. Because then Nina went over there too. So I don't think we really have to go anywhere before that. So basically like towards the end of the week, because I also feel like there wasn't much between that with Willow, right?
No, I mean, Willow spent the whole week in the gatehouse. So anyone that she talked to was there.
And I think in the same outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cute moving clothes. Sure. That's not how I dress when I'm unpacking, but whatever. But so Kai goes to her and hands in his letter of resignation. And she's like, well, you could have just sent an email. And he tells her that he could still go to the police because she tells him basically like, no, you're not going to, you'll get in trouble because you were breaking and entering and that you left Drew to die. And why would you work for me if you saw me do such a horrible thing? And that if he keeps pushing it, that she'll get her lawyers involved. Oh, because he told her that the reason that he did is because he heard that she was trying to keep Michael's kids away.
Right.
And because of all the damage that she had done, making people think that it was Michael who shot Drew, knowing that it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But she was basically like, you think that Michael is looking out for you, but he's not. And like, you're not going to escape being near him, without damage basically being done to you too. And then Nina was at the Metro Court pool talking to Brennan and asking him to dig up dirt on Michael. And he was like, no, listen, you need to let Willow pay for her own consequences. You're enabling her now. This is absolutely ridiculous. She's going to pull you down with her. And then Willow calls and Nina runs over there and Willow's freaking out because Kai resigned. And, he's saying that he could still go to the police about all this stuff. And Nina's kind of saying to her, like, but you shot Drew. You drugged
Right.
Drew. Like, why do you feel like, quit being a Curtis?
Yep.
You did the thing. Yes, people are going to find out about it. And that's the thing is that Willow's basically acting like she didn't do it.
Right. Even whenever she was talking about her mistakes, because she was like, I should have listened to you. You told me don't have Kai stay on as my intern and I kept him on. You told me not to take this information to Michael and try to push to get the kids back, to just, keep it in my back pocket. Maybe we could have negotiated later something different. None of that is she saying, you didn't tell me not to shoot Drew because I didn't tell you that I was going to do that. But you were telling me, like, don't keep this charade up. This isn't good for you. How are you going to keep drugging Drew all the time? Like, what's your long-term plan? And I didn't listen to any of it. She just acts like it totally didn't happen. No one saw her, so it didn't happen. Even whenever she was talking to Kai and he, like, had her, she was still like, no, people are going to think that you did it. And, Trina was with you, so that's suspicious also. Just like making up all kinds of stuff. I liked that he stood up to her and was like, no, the reason I had to tell everyone was tell Michael was because you were lying and you kept lying. And I wasn't going to let you keep manipulating this situation just because you think that you can do whatever you want to do. Good job, Kai.
And then he goes and tells Trina and Gio were having the meeting with Simon.
That guy's so weird.
So Simon broke it to Gio because Brook Lynn forgot to tell them that Simon wants them to be a couple. He says it in front of Emma, and Emma had arrived shortly before that with Quinn. And apparently Quinn is volunteering at the animal shelter with Emma. He's been there for the past 3 months. But yeah, he's definitely the stalker, right? Like that's where we're going is he's definitely the stalker. It's not Simon, even though they're saying, like, I feel like the vibe they're giving from Simon is supposed to throw us off, but it's Quinn. Okay.
Right. Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say. They kept making him look at her like, and then whenever he was saying how incredible she was to Gio, because Gio was like, we're going to go far no matter what. He was like, oh yeah, Trina's incredible. And they gave that look and it was like, oh, please stop.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that it's the friend, not him.
But Kai came over and he's like, so I know that this meeting is really important, Trina. I got to talk to you, which I appreciated the fact that he acknowledged, I understand what I am interrupting, but this is how serious it is that I have to talk to her. It's not just come with me, woman. It's literally this cannot wait. Like I have to talk to her right now. But then they go and talk right where she overheard somebody else. Like she didn't think about the fact that, I was standing right here when I found out the reason that we wound up telling Michael. So why don't we just have a conversation about what we know?
Yep. Absolutely. Makes total sense. But they stood up to him and said, no, they would not pretend to be a couple. And he was like, well, you're not going to sell as many records then. And I don't know. That whole thing is just weird. And why wasn't Brook Lynn there?
Right. Well,
I just don't understand. With Chase at the thing.
Well, is that when she was still with Chase at the house?
I mean, she didn't go anywhere else that we saw her this week, right? She talked to Tracy. She went with Chase to the dock. And then she was gone from the dock by the time that the kids got there. But I don't remember seeing her anywhere else this week.
We really have not been talking very much about Brook Lynn's guilt.
No.
And about how, I don't know. I guess there's really not much to say. Because she's talking about it. Maybe that's why. Because she's talking about it. And it's just like, yeah, this man's going to prison because you didn't, like all the things that happened
if you would have said something in the beginning.
You didn't. Yeah.
Right. You can't change it now, but
no,
you could have back then. Yeah.
That stinks.
I don't know. I don't think she feels guilty enough though. Like you hear her say it to Tracy, but then she backpedals to, oh, I've been being honest with Chase, but I didn't tell him that. Like we had a truce that we're going to be completely honest with each other.
I think it comes down to Phoebe, though, and I think that's the thing that's keeping her. I do believe that she feels super, super guilty, but I think that that's the thing that just keeps pulling her back to, but this is why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Even though if she had, because they could not have charged her with a DUI.
Nope.
And that's where a lot of this is. I just wish that we had even seen her Google,
anything.
Could they charge me with a DUI 3 days after driving by an accident?
Right.
No.
Right.
I think it's going to wind up not being her, though. I really, really do think it's not going to be her.
I would like for it to be Isaiah. I would really like for it. I said that last week.
I don't think it's going to be Isaiah, though, either, but I just think it's going to be somebody else. What if it was Willow? I know that they manipulated the information. I do know that they've manipulated her GPS and everything.
Yes.
Or what if it was Charlotte and Danny?
Oh, I don't want it to be them. No.
Because they did wind up in an accident. So it's like, we know that Carly and Valentine came upon the accident of Jordan and Curtis because they got the phone call. And I feel like the way that it was filmed, we were led to believe that Charlotte and Danny were in an accident well ahead of, and that perhaps while Carly and Valentine were on the way to them is when Curtis and Jordan
happened.
But what if it wasn't?
I mean, maybe, but I don't want that. No.
I don't know either.
They have those kids in trouble enough. I don't want this to be
Charlotte's
something
kind of doing it to herself
did.
right now. I'm not a fan of this right now. I don't like her scheming.
I mean, I'm not a fan of it, but I feel like some of it you can just push onto dumb teenage girl trying to get her way versus continuously getting in trouble with the law or purposely not escaping, but ignoring an accident that happened. I just feel like that's next level.
Yeah.
And I don't want her to go that far.
Well, remember we saw her cutting.
I know, but that was a long time ago. Like a really long time ago. I understand that. But there's lots of, that could be 411 every week for the next 5 years, storylines that went nowhere. We have that.
Yes.
But I don't want her to be that bad.
I almost feel like she is acting out because Lulu is
helicopter parent.
Because she said it. My mom hates my dad and I'm like my dad. And so I think that she's confused I think she's thinking, because I'm like my dad, even though she's not like Valentine in all those ways, that if my mom hates him and I love him, and all this, like, then I'll just start acting like what I think she thinks he acts like. Does that make sense?
It does. No, I know
I'm going to make these decisions, but it's not really what Valentine's doing. Valentine's on a different level.
Right.
But maybe she knows a lot, but I don't think she knows as much as she thinks she does.
Right. I mean, what teenager
he's kept her well informed. Well, no. Like about his stuff. He has explained a lot to her.
Right.
Absolutely. There's probably still a good bit that she doesn't know. I guess we could just stay on that. So she and Danny are going to plan to take down Drew and to maybe make like some kind of Danny gave her the 5-second recap of Drew.
Mm-hmm.
And about how he was caught with Jacinda. And she's basically says, well, we could just recreate something like that. She's not going to put herself in a position where it looks questionable, right?
I mean, that's what I was thinking she's definitely going to do.
No.
But I would hope not. I agree.
Listen,
that's
Drew
not okay.
Has been awful lately. That is... no.
I agree. Drew doesn't deserve that, and we don't pretend to be a victim of something like that when we actually weren't. Because that undermines all of the real victims. So 100%. But again, she's a dumb teenage girl and maybe, I don't know. I hope not.
I'm going to be really mad because then Lulu's going to wind up turning it on to being Valentine's ish. Oh my gosh. Okay. He cleans up too. He does the dishes. But it was really cute. Like he was making dinner at Carly's and she says that she misses her personal chef. And he's like, oh, is that all you miss? And then Lulu comes storming in and is like, where's my daughter? Where's Charlotte? And he says, well, she's on Jason's boat with Danny on the way to Egret Island. Okay.
And she knows all that because she has the app. She's the one saying, why is our daughter allowed to be there? And he's like, she said, do you know where our daughter is? And he spouted off exactly where she was. And she was like, yeah, my phone told me that. Why is she on a boat? And then Carly piped in and was like, Jason says that he's perfectly fine driver of the boat, and he knows that they're on the boat, like everything's fine. And she's like, oh, my daughter's going to drown. All the places that Charlotte's been, you think she doesn't know how to swim? Like,
Also,
she'll
Charlotte
be
has
fine.
been on that boat how many times?
Right.
Just in the past month that we know about.
Right, but Lulu doesn't know that.
Well, but she was with her, so. But yeah, she's doing that. And they actually invited her to have dinner.
They did. You
know, and then she's like, but it's getting dark out. He just goes, I wouldn't worry about it. That happens at nighttime. And he's just.
Yeah.
And then she starts flipping out on him. And Carly's like, you need to get a life. And Valentine was actually kind of sweet. And he was like, so are you dating? She's like, what? He's like, are you dating? You need to find something to do with your time. What are you doing? Carly,
I'm working. All I do is work.
But Carly backed him and she's like, or you could try pickleball, which also would now explain why they have pickleball paddles on the ABC shop. I feel like it's the first time that they've ever referenced pickleball on the show, and those paddles have been up there for years.
There you go.
But, yeah, so like they're encouraging her to start dating. And then when she leaves, Carly thinks, oh, I need to listen to my own advice that I'm giving her. I'm telling her to trust Charlotte and to trust her to make her own decisions and everything. And that, you know, you can't be on top of her 24/7. And I need to let Joss make her own decisions. But then she talks about how when she was Joss's age, you know, she made some really crazy decisions. And Valentine was like, well, do you regret any of them? And she's like, well, I definitely went through things that I wouldn't like to go through again, but I wouldn't be where I am without them. And he said, well, then that's a success.
Yes. Well, Lulu had some nerve. I mean, she always does. But Lulu had some nerve because she was yelling at Carly saying, how are you going to give me parenting advice whenever your daughter is doing... Josslyn's an adult.
When your daughter has a job and a career, how dare you?
Exactly. Charlotte is still a child. I know she's almost not, but she is still a child. Josslyn is a mom, Josslyn is an adult. She doesn't have to listen to her mom. We wish that they would, but they have to make their own choices. So, no, you have nothing to stand on, Lulu. Joss didn't join the WSB at 15 and Carly be like, no, that's fine.
Exactly. Here, I'll go get you your first weapon.
Right. And she's not saying it's fine now. She's just saying there's nothing I can legally do about it.
Right.
So.
But then he asks her that in 6 years, like, and he's spouting off on how he trusts Charlotte and all this stuff. And he's like, but here's the deal. In 6 years, when she's Josslyn's age, I'm going to need you to remind me of everything I am saying right now because I'm going to feel the way that you are about Joss. Yeah. And she's like, oh, do you really think that you'll be around in 6 years? Like, is that in general or with me? And he said, both. And then they kissed.
So Madeline is taking French this year. You know, our junior high does 6 weeks of like each of the languages. So they know what they want to do whenever they get to the high school. And so why are you looking at me like you don't remember that from your son?
I don't.
Oh, okay. It's been that way forever because my son did it too. They take 6 weeks of each one so that they can choose which one they want to stick with when they get to high school next year. So her first 6 weeks is French. So she was sitting downstairs as that scene came on. And whenever Carly got into his arms and they were all whatever, she turned to me and she was like, I hope you're with me forever. And she did a little French kiss on each side. And I was like, that's appropriate for Valentine. See, you should start watching GH with me.
That's peace.
So
get her on Duolingo and she and I can be friends.
She was doing Duolingo for Spanish for a long time, but now she's been just in these past 2 days, she's talked about maybe doing French. So I'll let her know. But
we can still be friends even if she's doing Spanish.
Oh, a different language? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I didn't know how it worked, but I'm mad at her because they got to pick their French name and she did not pick Madeline.
Well, she wants a different name.
But she's named after Madeline.
Right, but she wants a different name.
I'm not going to say it the French way, and if she hears me, she'll yell at me because I'm saying it wrong, but it's Cecilia. So I'm not saying I don't like that name, but I was like, say you're Madeline. No. What do you mean, no?
A friend of mine named her daughter after her French class name.
Oh, cute. All right, well, maybe someday I'll have a long, I
don't remember that we picked ours, though.
Now.
I don't even remember what mine was. I actually don't know if we picked our own.
Oh, yeah, that was part of their thing.
All right, my son's answering me.
Anyway.
Hold on.
He's going to say, yeah, I'm right. ... Or he's not going to remember because Matt was like, oh, I did that in high school. And I was like, no, you didn't. And he was like, oh, I guess I did that in junior high. I was like,
Okay, stop. Continue.
He doesn't remember. Anyway, I just thought it was funny that she did the French kiss, but not the French kiss,
Yes.
with Valentine on the screen. So thought that would make you happy.
Yes. Good girl. I guess we could just go to Joss from that then.
Yeah.
So Joss went to Michael. I believe so. Yeah, I think it was both French and Spanish.
There you go.
Okay, well, I didn't know that.
You're welcome.
He always got good grades. I promise I know my kids. I promise that I paid attention to my kids when they were in middle school. I feel like such a horrible parent right now.
Oh my gosh. No one is accusing you of being a horrible parent. I was just laughing because your face was like, you didn't know what I was talking about.
What are you talking?
And
well,
I'm
don't
like,
you think that if my son was taking French, I'd have been like, man, I'm all over this.
I know that
Anyway.
your kid went through the same school as my kids, so we're on the same page.
Interesting. So anyway, Joss went to Michael and asked for help with taking over. No worries. I don't think I talked about it that much. And it was a long time ago.
It was. Which is sad.
So obviously he did not continue with it. But so Joss went to see Michael and asked for help taking over JJE, or asked for help with who to hire to taking over JJE. And he said that he wasn't going to back her up for choosing the WSB over Jax's company. And he's like, I don't know. I'm a parent now, so I understand why mom's doing this. I agree, like she shouldn't be, but I understand why. And then he tells her about Willow moving in and all that stuff, but that he offers to help find a replacement for her if she needs it. And Joss is going to try to get along with Willow.
To be nice.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And, but he won't tell her exactly why Willow's moving in. But then Hudson was meeting with Carly, right?
Yes.
Carly invited him over.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And was grilling him into, you need to figure out a way to make Joss accept this position.
I mean, she pointed out the obvious. She was like, listen, Jax sent you here to hand this over to Josslyn because she was in a very dangerous situation. She didn't actually tell him that Joss was a WSB agent, right? I think this was the only person that it wasn't said directly to. But
Joss told Hudson she was.
He did, but Carly didn't. Carly said she was in a dangerous situation and there's potential that she's going to be in this situation again. And so her dad is trying to get her out of this. So her dad did not send you here to take care of his company. He sent you here to help take care of his daughter. So you need to do what you need to do. And that was whenever Lucas walked in and was like, what are you doing? And she was like, mind your business.
Well, and he was like, so Joss is a lot like you. And how do you feel when someone tries to meddle in your life? And he's like, did you ever notice that mom did not meddle in your life? I don't know. I feel like Bobby had a lot to say when you slept with her husband.
Right. But I don't feel like that was as a mom. That was as a wife. Please don't sleep with my husband. It's not really a hard request.
Daughter, please do not sleep with my husband.
Yeah. I don't feel like that's a far-fetched request.
No. But then Hudson went to the boathouse and Joss said that she hired or brought on Michael as a consultant. And I guess this week was just the week of hypocrisy because he says in the same breath, you can't so Joss hands over the file of all the proprietary information about JJE that's like maybe 2 sheets of paper.
Right.
And she asked Hudson, well, did you put your name on the list? First of all, like, why don't these people have resumes? Like, is it just a list of links for him to go to digitally see all their CVs or what?
Mm-hmm.
But he says that what was it? What did he say? He said that he was mad at her for giving Michael, who knows business, who is a CEO, who understands the business world, info for something that is her responsibility, but then at the same time says she doesn't know anything about the company, so he's not leaving.
Right.
Which one is it, dude? Is it her responsibility or does she know nothing about the company? And why do you want someone who knows nothing about the company to make a decision? But then Phoebe and Chase and Brook Lynn brought Phoebe down to the boathouse and they introduced him. And that was probably one of the more natural conversations. Joss was like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you since you finalized the adoption. I'm so happy for you guys. Congratulations. And Hudson was like, oh, how old is she? And she's 5.5 months. And then Brook Lynn was kind of asking Joss a few questions about why they're working for Jax while Hudson was off helping Chase get drinks and snacks and everything. But then he and Joss moved to her apartment and she's just, signing away. And he's kind of like, oh, I feel bad for your friends. It seems like, did he say he feels bad for them?
I don't know exactly how he brought it up, but she said that Phoebe was lucky to have them and then explained how everything had come about.
Yeah. And then he said, I can't imagine letting my child go. And she was like, well, they were in touch with the father and he signed away his rights. So it sounds like it was definitely like a decision. But she didn't tell him about Delilah, right? Like they didn't tell him Phoebe's mom died, did they?
Yes, she did say that the mom died because she said that they found her right before she went into labor, and then unfortunately she died. And he said, "Didn't she have any family?"
How did I forget that?
And Joss said she was from out of town. They looked, they couldn't find any, but they did track down the dad. So
yeah, okay.
Which it would be great if he just left it at that, but he's not going to. So
well, no, that's his baby.
Yeah.
So, and I get that.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's wrong for wanting his baby.
Oh, yeah,
I'm just saying that it would be nice for them. It would be nice if he took it as, oh, they found the dad, so it must not have been my baby mama because
right.
Surely
I
they did
didn't
a
think
DNA
about that.
test.
Well, that's what I was asking, but they didn't say her name, Delilah.
No.
Okay. I did forget that they actually told her she died, but they definitely did not say Delilah.
Correct.
Okay.
At least not that I remember.
Okay. Listen, I didn't even remember that told her that she died. So, before Lucy did all of her bad real estating, she was talking to Serena about the deception shares. And she's like, oh, by the way, Michael's single now. And Serena's like, can you quit pimping me out?
I loved it because she was talking smack on Jacinda for being a sex worker. And Serena was like, what makes me that much different?
Yeah.
And she was like, no. And Serena's like, yeah, you want me to be nice to a man for money. It's the same thing.
Yep.
So I think I'm going to like Serena. They need just to evolve a little bit more. I need some more screen time with her, but I think that I'm going to like her.
She's going to challenge Lucy in a way that no one else can.
Right.
And get her to see reason.
Mm-hmm.
She should also be helping. Must have been the cat. Sorry. I don't like being home by myself at night.
Oh, okay.
But JD's on his way home.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, is he already home? It better be the cat. Hold on, let me check my ring. I don't see anything. Okay. I'm not being murdered right now. So also off to the side, there was a lady reading a Happy magazine at the pool. It was named Happy. The name of the magazine was Happy. So we need people from this magazine. There's a competitor.
Okay.
That was pretty much it. I think that was really it for all of that, for that whole big loop. Joss, the rest of Joss stuff, I feel like we have to go with the Jason Britt to get to there.
There was the smidge with Anna, but we'll get there too.
Yeah.
Tuesday was Sonny and Laura sitting down and talking, and I laughed because it was like you and me talking, because Sonny is like, so you in therapy, or no, him and Anna. Sorry, not Laura.
It was Anna.
Him and Anna.
Yep.
Sorry.
So I'm Sonny in this situation.
And my brain went Joss and Anna and Sonny, but then whenever I said it, I said Laura. Sorry. Sonny and Anna talking, and he was like, so are you in therapy? And she was like, no. And he was like, maybe you should get into therapy. You've had some crap happen to you. And she was like, no. And I literally
she
wrote
wasn't entirely
Shannon and Amanda on the daily.
But she was revealing a lot, but she went to him for that reason. She said, I wanted to talk to you. They kind of opened the story with Gio and Emma, which was really, really sweet. And he said, well, do you have a problem with the fact that Gio's dating Emma? And she's like, no, Gio's great. I heard that he was staying with the Quartermaines for a little while. Oh, and Dante had told her that he was going to be focusing more on Corinthos Coffee and less on his other enterprises. But he explained that Gio had moved in when everything was going on with Sidwell, but now he's back to living with him. And she talks to him about her fight back to reality and about how she feels like the people she loves are her enemy. And he says about how he understands knowing how it feels when you can't trust your own brain, when you can't trust your own mind to be telling you the truth. Oh, he's the one that said, and it feels like you think the people you love are your enemy, but they're not. He said that. And I think he talked about his medication too. I could be wrong.
I don't remember that, but I could have just not paid attention enough.
And he said that he's learned the hard way that it's not good to be alone with your thoughts, and that, he only asked her really once. He shared his experience and got her to open up. And then he was like, because he shared that he's still in therapy.
Yes.
Because you should always be in therapy. Because even when things are good, it's good to have someone to go to when things get bad. JD's
Sure.
home now.
Good. I'm glad you're not getting murdered.
Yes, JD is home. Like 360 says that's JD.
Or the murderer
JD's
stole his
coming!
phone.
So I thought that I just heard you come home, and I didn't. And then, he brought me a centerpiece.
Aww.
Those are pretty. Okay. Oh, we were in the middle of therapy and Sonny. And not trusting your own thoughts when I think that I hear someone coming into my house to potentially murder.
Perfect.
So, but I don't know. I felt like it was really, really nice because he was offering her support, and he said that he can't wait until they're just friends, that they're not basically going to have to be adversaries and everything.
Right.
Oh, and she asked, and this is the other thing. She asked if he would sell her a little piece of land. And he said that he would have Diane be in touch. And she said, no, I don't want anyone else to be involved in this. That's not how that works.
Right.
Even one-to-one sales, if I sold you my house, it's still public knowledge. It's still going to be in the paper. You still have to do the formal thing. But she says no one else can know anything about it. Is that where she's going to bury Britt?
Oh, maybe.
Or is that where she's going to try to? But I mean, he doesn't have like a field with acreage. It's the piers.
Can you tell me what's your favorite place to bury bodies, Sonny? Because I might need your recommendation.
Right. Like, what was the name of it? Pine Barren?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does he own that? But, and then they talked about, I think he suggested that they get dinner with Emma and Gio and they have like a nice family night out. I thought that would be nice. But then the second that she goes through the door, Peter is screaming at her, you don't need a shrink. You have me.
Yeah.
I don't know. This better be good. It better be good.
And it better not drag on too much longer because I don't understand.
Yeah. But then we saw, so now Britt also has to attend. Okay. How formal is this softball league?
Right. They've been doing it for 1,000 years and it's never been this ridiculous. But now that Britt is in charge of equipment, there's these extra meetings they have to go to. And if you don't show up, you're in big trouble. And
she has to go to the league meetings as the representative for GH and I guess Jason. Oh, she was complaining about it. She was on the phone with Brad.
Yes, that was cute.
But Jason's playing for ELQ.
Yeah, she was like, oh, I didn't know Corinthos Coffee would be here. And he was like, I'm not Corinthos Coffee.
And that's when he told her that he's no longer even a partner in Corinthos Coffee, which we didn't know until right now. And then...
Right, which doesn't make any sense to me because I thought that was the legit business.
Exactly.
Okay.
He didn't say, Sonny, I want nothing to do with you. He said, I can't be your enforcer anymore.
Right. I went out of the business, not all
not
businesses.
The legit business.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
All right. So, I'm glad that I wasn't the only one that was like, what?
No, I was confused by that. But I guess Sonny bought him out. And so now he's helping ELQ because it's a family business.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the rep for ELQ. But then they went to, after that, like they wound up going to the boathouse. It was at night. It was kind of romantic and everything. And they started trading stories about the WSB in Jakarta. And, was that still, it doesn't matter. They had the conversation. She said about how Anna is helping her look into Cassius's death, but it's a secret and no one else is supposed to know. And he apologizes for not being there to help her with the column. But she's like, I don't care. You saved Rocco. I will always be thankful for that. So that must have been while they were still the baseball thing, because then it was later that they went to the boathouse. And that's when Joss showed up and was like, because Jason asked her about being shot. And she's like, yeah, it was no thanks to Britt, because the reason I was even in that position. And then he listened to her, talk about how the reason that she was kidnapped is because Britt told Cassius that she was WSB, and Britt did not even try to defend herself, which I liked
Right.
because sometimes it can get to be too much.
Right.
But once she left, Jason turned around and was like, all right, so what do you have to say? And she's like, I didn't tell him to hurt Joss. I was telling him Joss is looking into you.
Right.
And he wasn't
Right.
believing me because she's just a, college student. And she was like, nope, WSB. Oh, because Jason said, people have been hurt by my mistakes. And she said, no, but yeah, your mistakes. But Britt's were intentional choices. So were Jason's.
Yeah.
So, but I understand Joss's lens is.
Right. Yeah. She said, I'm alive because of Cassius, not because of you.
Right. So, but they agree that they both want to be with each other. So they're moving on. I feel like I'm glad with how they're doing Jason and Britt.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than the first comeback.
Right.
Well, we forgot about with Anna. She saw, I guess this actually really wraps up Anna and Joss because Anna was at the Metro Court pool and the server brought over a drink. She says that she didn't order it. And she says, well, that gentleman over there sent it over. And it's Tristan. He introduces himself and says that he's such a huge fan of hers, because, she figures out that he was WSB. And he said that he was a doctor in Jakarta and that he just joined the staff at GH. And he mentions that I guess GH is so world renowned and that they're mentioned in a lot of the WSB case studies. And he mentions Sean Donnelly, Briscoe Jones, but he first mentions Robert Scorpio.
They're mentioned in the WSB case studies because all of the agents lived in Port Charles and that was the only hospital. But okay.
Right. But she tells him that she thinks that he'll do well as a doctor and it's such a big change from being a field operative. And he's like, oh, how did you know? She's like, seriously? You just said that you're a big fan of mine. I've lived your life, I can tell. But he only did it for 5 years and he got out. And he got out because being a doctor is life and death, but it's more honest. And she's told him that it was a good thing that he got out while there was still honesty in the WSB or something like that. But then Josh shows up and it looks like there's a little googly eyes going on because she's like, he's your friend.
Right. I was surprised that she didn't have any idea who he was, though. I mean, she hangs out at the WSB office all the time, and now she has a desk job there. So,
well, but if he was only in it for 5 years, so did he just get out?
I feel like
or
he
has
did because
he been out.
But he was the one that brought Jason back,
Exactly.
so he had to have just got out. Like that was his last mission.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too. Okay.
Yeah.
But so apparently he knows who Joss is, though.
Right, and if he wouldn't have just got out, he wouldn't have heard all that.
Yep.
So,
and then did he leave? And then she told Joss never to do a mission that you can't find your way back from.
Right. Take a second and go back and watch those scenes because the way that those tables are high and they have the lounge chairs low, it looks like there's people sitting under the table.
Okay. I didn't notice that.
Just for a laugh.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
I know what that, like your brain knows what it is because you watch the show enough, but when you first see it, you're like, why are there
people under the table?
Under the table. But,
okay. Nice. There's only a couple things left.
I was trying to see what else my notes of absurdity were because that was, like I said, that was all that I took notes on. So I think Dante and Rick were before Isaiah and Portia, and so I just was like caught off guard seeing Rick and Dante in Liz's house because the whole ick factor like hit me then. Like I knew it beforehand, obviously, we've said like ew, but so we see Dante had seen Liz earlier in the week and he said that he would go and help her put together a bookcase.
Well, I think it was that day because he came over in his jersey and everything.
Right, after the game.
She got all cute for him though.
She was cute. So
she dressed up.
He gets there and he's like limping and she's like, what's the matter? And he says that they won the game because he stole home base and he slid into it and maybe he's too old for that because now his knee hurts. And she's like, maybe you should get that checked out. And he's like, no, I'm here to do your bookcase. So I guess he goes and does half the bookcase and then we see him back on the couch and she's like, you should go to the doctor. And he says no again. And so she tells him to take his pants off after she feels his leg, and he flinches and says that some part of it hurts. She's like, I need to see it, whatever. So he is laying there with an ice pack on his knee. And a few minutes before that, we had seen Rick talking to Sonny, and he's whipping out an engagement ring. And I love that Sonny's like,
What are you doing?
Oh, early for that. Like, what?
Yeah.
And he tries to make a joke of it, and is like, it's not my style. I prefer 6-prong, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, come on, Sonny. And Sonny's like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, if you want me to be supportive, sure, Liz is a nice girl. But at the same time, have you discussed this with her? Are you guys on the same page? And Rick's like, oh, no, we haven't talked anything about this. I just assumed that she would want to marry me. So he goes over there with flowers because he's going to propose.
Mentioned that his love has turned into obsession before, and it has ruined their relationship.
Right. And the jealousy, because Rick keeps saying, well, I have to, lock her down before somebody else comes into the picture. And he's like, that's not really how that's supposed to work. So he goes over to Liz's house and looks in the window and sees that Dante is laying there in his underwear. But it's obviously that they're not like in the throes of passion. He's laying there on the couch. She's not like disheveled at all. And then he comes storming in and is like, sorry, I'm interrupting. Here's some flowers I got for you, but I guess I'll let you get back to your night. And she's looking at him like, you're absolutely ridiculous. If you come over here, I'll explain to you what's going on. And he's like, no, that's okay. And so then she does explain, and he's still like, I'm going to leave. So he left, and then they start talking about being hungry, and Dante's like, oh, you read my mind. And the pizza guy shows up, and then they sit down and enjoy pizza and some wine together. And I'm just seeing Rick standing there arguing with her or being upset with her while Dante was on the couch. I was like, oh, that's your uncle. That's just yucky. Please stop. Just stop.
Yeah.
Hi, Cookie.
Hi. Say hi. Hey. Okay, don't say hi. Yeah, but then Rick storms out, and Liz says to him, he would have gotten mad if he had walked in seeing me tip the pizza guy. And he says, well, that's funny because while I was building the bookcase, I ordered his pizza, and the doorbell rang and everything.
Right.
And I got it from Gino's because we still don't have Stewart's. Maybe that's what Jason needs to do, is
open a new pizza shop.
Yes, named Stewart's.
Okay.
And
I liked that Liz recognized how dumb Rick is, though. Like, she was like, I would like to think that things could work out, but no matter what, he has it in his head and he's not getting past these things, and I don't know what to do about it. And then Dante is complaining about everything with Rocco, and is like, no, let me listen to you. You've listened to all the stuff about Rocco. I want to be your friend. And she's like, not really much to talk about except for Rick needs to stop being stupid.
Yep.
Rick doesn't
and then
need
they
to
had
stop
more
being stupid.
wine.
You just need to shut him down. Yeah. But they kept talking about other things. It didn't seem like it was going to end up being romantic, even though I wanted it to be.
I know.
So
I think it'd be
which
cute.
I never thought that I would say, but I would rather them than her and Rick. Oh, no, thank you.
They seem cute, though. Like, I don't feel like if it happens that it's necessarily been forced on us.
Right.
Like, I feel like they're kind of maybe doing what they did with Carly and Valentine and are testing out to see. And
right.
I don't
what
know.
Our thoughts are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better than Rick? Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Can't get much worse than Rick. And then, I think it was Thursday then I had, and I'm not trying to judge at all, because I know that there are people who less than 9 months later.
I hurt 24 years later watching that. Not 24 years, because my youngest will be 23 next month. So, actually, that was 2020. Yeah, so 23 years later. Sorry.
Okay, but I'm not trying to judge if you got the all clear from the doctor, or even if you didn't, because I know there's people that don't always wait. 100% your body, your choice. You do what you want with it. But I have never, ever, ever, ever met someone who wasn't like, I want to do this with you, but like let's take it easy. Like, we're
Like,
going to ease into this. Like, let's be careful or whatever. When they've discussed the first time after childbirth with their significant other, that's the conversation they're having. I want to do this. What I feel like, I mean, I don't know how long everyone else, I didn't take a poll, but I feel like that's how you would be, whether it was 2 days after birth or 12 months after birth. The first time after birth, you're like, I'm not really sure how all that's going to be. So let's take it slow. Be careful. I don't want to be owie. Okay. She is like, here you go. Let's get this on. And he's like, are you sure? And she's like, if you ask me again, I'm leaving. And he grabs her. And thank God they didn't make us watch the whole sex
I
scene.
know.
Like, if we had to watch either her and Isaiah or Curtis and Portia, or Curtis and Jordan, I was 100% Curtis, not them. So I was very thankful that I didn't have to watch that. But I thought, no, again, you're so unrealistic as far as what it is. I'm going to shut my door because Madeline was trying to be helpful and saw the cats outside and let them in. But now that she has the door open, then she just went downstairs and knocked the gate down. So I apologize for the noise. Okay. She was being helpful and then not. Anyway, yeah, like, again, your body, your choice, whatever. But no, I don't know anyone who's like, take me now after the first time after having a baby.
Nope.
But Isaiah did say that he was going to drop the civil suit. And she said, but you have every right to that money, which we agreed on last time, like every time that we've talked about it. And then he said, but I don't think that that's necessary now that I have a good prognosis for my hand. I think everything's going to be okay. And maybe that'll help Curtis and help your family not be so at odds with each other if I go ahead and drop that. And I was like, Isaiah, I still don't like you, but that was a nice thought. So,
yeah. Yeah, because then we saw Curtis and Jordan saying goodbye, and then he went and said goodbye to Trina and Desmond, and then Trina sang to him while we watched him go to jail.
So Ryan,
but he had recommended Jordan to Michael to take over for Aurora.
Yes, Ryan doesn't watch as often lately as he had been, and so he saw Curtis, like being all sad, leaving Jordan, and he was like, "What's wrong with her? Why is she crying?" And I was like, "Because he's going to jail." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And then he walked back in a few minutes later, whenever Trina was standing there holding Desmond, and was like, "Bye, Daddy," whatever. And he was like, "Does that man have two families going on?" And and I was like, no. And he was like, "He's got baby mama." I'm like, "That's not his baby mama. That's his daughter." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, I know there's an age difference between between the kids, and I mean, Trina's technically an adult, so she could be dating someone her dad's age. But no, in this case, those were his children. That was his girlfriend. And he was like, "Oh, okay." And it was so funny. Like, man.
I did like that they had him go to a meeting and that Alexis gave him pointers for how to survive and not relapse.
And that she would be there for him.
Yep. I don't feel like we've talked about this. We don't talk about his sobriety enough, you know? So I was really, really glad that they reminded us of it this week.
Yes.
But yeah, so right before he went to say goodbye to Trina and Desmond, he had taken Jordan to Aurora, and Michael was asking if first of all, not a fan of the fact that he didn't ask Jordan ahead of time.
Right?
He sprung it on her. I think that Jordan would be and it wasn't like they were brainstorming and he knew that Michael listed off the list of all the qualifications, and then he looks at her and was like, wait a second, you would be great at this. He was just like, so I want to formally, because, well, you said that you want to get back into corporate and you're willing to work for Valentine. And she's like, as a consultant.
Right.
Did you not listen to
exactly.
Men listen. Yeah. Seriously, do you know how many of Curtis's problems right now, this moment, could be solved if he listened? But Jordan accepted, and Michael, I think she only accepted, though, because when Curtis went out of the room to take care of Desmond is when Michael said, I trust you. Like, I'm not just saying this because Curtis recommended you. Like, I actually trust you. So I think it would be a good fit, but I don't want to pressure you. But also he kind of did, because he said that he didn't want to pressure her after he said, I think it would be good for Curtis if you were. But then he was like, but like, I don't want that to be the reason why you accept it. But she agreed to do it. And then Drew had come in trying to make amends, and he wants to be an advisor.
He said just have a more prominent role. And then he started asking about having a office.
Yeah. Michael's like, heck no. And Drew, I actually do believe, do I believe Drew?
No, I don't believe
Because I believe Drew wanted to make amends with Curtis.
I believe that he wanted to make amends with Curtis, but I don't believe his apology to Portia, and I don't believe his apology to Jordan, and even saying to Michael, I was hoping we could get a fresh start. And he turned around and blamed it all on Willow. I love that Michael was like, I'm pretty sure you got what you deserved there, buddy, since you were, pursuing my wife.
But he apologized. This is where I'm torn because Michael is involved with Curtis' business. So
Right.
That's where I'm like, do I believe it or do I not? Because I don't think that he would sabotage Aurora, but I guess he might to help Curtis.
Right.
Okay. So there's that. And then he had also met with Ava. He had gone over the list of art that she had suggested that he also purchased. Oh, she had done that earlier in the week, right? That she suggested, because Nina and Brennan were meeting and they saw Ava and Drew talking. And
Yes,
Nina's
that
like,
was
I'll
great.
take care of that later. And then
Right.
Brennan comes over and tells Ava that she needs to watch the company that she's keeping and everything. But she offered Drew told her that he's planning to go after Sidwell's properties and stuff like that. And she said, you really should go after the art. And she was really saying like, and it's not just because of me, because she's not going to make a dime off of this.
Yeah.
Like she won't make a dime off of him buying them from the auction or whatever. But Ava says, like, they're going to appreciate. I'll give you a list. I'll give you my feedback on them, whatever.
That she's not trying to buy them back. Can't she just reacquire them and then sell them for whatever profit?
She's like a broker, though, but she's a broker. I don't think she doesn't really sell. She has the gallery, but she doesn't like really sell art, a lot of art from the gallery. Like she finds the dealers and then is like the in-between.
Okay.
Like she has like her exhibits that she'll have sales from. But in terms of like all the art that Sidwell bought, she went to the seller and she gets her commission from there. So, I mean, no one's probably, she could, because I'm sure that somebody else would want to buy it. And also there's those crazy people that like to buy things that criminals have had.
Right. There you go. Could up that even more.
She might also be thinking, Drew can actually buy all these, and then I can be the broker for whenever he goes to sell them. So
that's true. Yeah, she'll get her
because she doesn't want to hold on to them. She's telling him to buy them to hold on to them. She doesn't want to hold on to them.
That makes sense, not to sink her capital into them. Yeah. Okay. Smart thinking.
What else? Is that it? Oh, Lulu went to Laura and was like, because Rick called Lulu and said, if they don't act fast. I did appreciate the fact that Lulu thought he was bonkers.
Their note, Laura is like, we saw Laura talk to Rocco about watching her house, and that was very nice. And he was like, you don't need to pay me. And she was like, I respect your time. And then he was like, oh, that's a good idea that I make extra money because Drew might be telling me Drew might be cutting my hours at the pool because I can't be around Scout. And I thought, I don't know how he has that authority, but whatever. But Laura's talking about how much she misses Kevin. They're talking about how lucky she is to have found a second love as good as her first and whatever. All that, very sweet and whatever. But she says how much she misses Kevin. It's been 6 months. And Lulu's like, yeah, and it makes it even harder because he's so far away. What does it have to do with distance? If you don't see someone for 6 months, it doesn't matter if they're a block away or if they're 5 gazillion miles away. The point is you're not seeing them.
But
oh my God.
Then she starts complaining about, for a second, because Rick was drinking and Valentine and Carly had just told her to start dating, I thought that was going to happen. And thank God it did not.
I would have been more okay with that than him being with Liz. And maybe it would give Lulu some type of something to talk about, dwell on, think about other than her ridiculousness of stalking her children and just whining all the time about how she hasn't found any great love. Do you know why you didn't find any great love? Because the guy that you were going to get engaged to blew up in a building and then you were in a coma for 5 years.
Well, no. Okay. But she was not getting engaged to Dustin because she was on her way to tell Dante that she loved him.
Yes.
So I get that. But we have also moved on from that since we've been out of our coma, and Sam died, 2 years ago now?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Absolutely. Thank you for not pouncing on that. But also you fought him a lot since then. So,
right. You're
you
not
know,
gravitating towards each other. It's not like we see you being all flirty and cute with him and inviting him for family dinners and whatever. You argue with him 90% of the time.
it seems like she hates him now, which I don't like. I don't like because Lulu and Dante
Right.
were so cute, but like they're not cute. So,
And then Rick to be like, my ex-wife and your ex-husband, they were not the same. Like this
but then
time
Lulu was like, I
periods
understand
did
who
not
those
exist.
people are. Like
Right.
I did like
right.
her responses. But yeah. And she's like, so you mean a nurse was looking? And she did say, she's like, so Dante was in compression shorts. Yeah, it's really not that sexy. Like, don't worry. Not that okay. But yeah. Okay. So for that scene, I loved Lulu.
For the
and I
scene
wish that
with
they
Rick.
had her, but I wish that that was the personality they gave her. So I appreciate the fact that we saw that because that means she can do it. So can we get
right.
that Lulu? Because that's
Yep.
the Lulu that we are used to and that we like.
Right. And that
Not-
Lulu might attract Dante, not her whininess that she does.
Yeah. But yeah, then that got her thinking maybe she'll never find love again. And that's what she was crying to Laura about.
Yeah. Dante was her one great love. And Laura was like, you mean that you still have feelings for him? Or you really think you can never find someone else to be with? Because that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And not Carly, Laura basically called her out on it and was like, shut up.
Right. Right. Exactly.
She's like, you're being a little ridiculous right now. Like, that's not it.
Are you doing anything to actively search for love? No, you're just writing your stories and following your children around. Well, maybe you need to broaden your horizons a little bit.
Yep. Oh, and then real quick was Donna was making invitations for apparently we have a family barbecue and she wants to invite Justine, the ADA, and Sonny is trying so hard. And is like, well, she's really busy. She's a busy attorney. I don't think that busy attorneys can make the barbecue. And I was surprised she didn't mention Molly first. But that's when Rick showed up to talk to Sonny about the proposal and everything. And he's like, and I kind of felt bad for Rick for a moment because I know that he and Sonny have worked on it. But I'm like, oh, shoot, is he invited to the family barbecue?
Right.
But I think that he knew that he was. And Donna's just sitting there coloring. I was like, see, Daddy, Uncle Rick's a big, busy attorney and he can come to the barbecue.
Right. And then later
Sonny went and visited Sidwell. We forgot that.
Oh, yeah. That was how it ended. We saw Donna showing the invitations and him giving his approval, but she was hiding one for Justine down next to her. So she'll get it to her, I'm sure. Don't underestimate Donna.
Yep.
But yeah, then Sonny meeting up with Sidwell. I don't know. Like, I mean, I expected that to happen eventually, but I also felt like they said everything that we thought they were going to say. Sonny said that he went legit. Sidwell said, there's no way. Sonny said, no, I'm for real. Sidwell was like, no, there's no way. And then Sonny...
Base doesn't look good on you. Base doesn't look good on me.
Right. And then, oh, that's funny. Now Justine can't prosecute you. And whatever, and kind of just like jabbing at him. I did think it was cute though when
Sidwell was like, that really pretty or whatever. I mean, and that's his wife,
right?
Right. And he's like, that really pretty ADA, seems to want you to be okay or whatever. And I was like,
yes,
aw,
very cute. But yeah, they just like sat there saying nonsense to each other, and then Sonny's like, okay, well, I'm leaving, and Sidwell says, his time in prison will be however long. Unless Sonny has that end first. And Sonny's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. And then he gets up to leave and Sidwell's like, well, it's not that easy to leave. And Sonny's like, it is. I said I'm done. And that's like it. So.
But they're not meeting with the families, the family, Miss Wu. Like we're not having these conversations. Remember how we had to do that with Carly and Jason?
Right.
And Carly had that awesome power suit and walk.
Right. And I feel like that would be the perfect time because Sonny had an alliance with Miss Wu to say to Miss Wu, look, I'll give you all of my control if you offer me protection because I don't want people coming after me because I'm no longer in the mob. And Miss Wu would absolutely give that to him and be like, sure. Sounds like a great business deal. Thanks for coming and talking to me. Now I don't have to try to kill you. Great.
And we just heard Brad talking to Britt. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Great. Where's Miss Wu?
I don't know. Why did I just get Scooby Dooby Doo in my head, but like with Miss Wu?
With Miss Wu? Oh, man.
I don't have all the lyrics right now, so I'm not going to sing it. Oh, okay.
Okay.
I think that's it. I think there was a lot more than I thought we thought. I think there was a lot more than we thought that there would be.
Reality check.
So how was your week?
I mean, I feel like I spread it out through the episode just because of how things related to whatever. But it was good. It was pretty boring. You breaking into song reminds me of my trainer that I had for this week. They like switch them depending on what you're learning. So this week was the trainer that is teaching me what I'll be specialized in. But she also has a song for everything. So like as we were going, we took a quiz, and then as we were getting ready to review it, she's like, "Are y'all ready for this?" And she starts singing, and I was like, I've been in this situation before. I know someone who does this to me all the time. So,
Did she sing that song though? Was that what she?
Yes, that was the song
Okay.
that she sang. "Oh, hello. Can you not scratch me? I hear you. Say hello. Hi. I know."
Hi.
Anyway, so yeah, so it was like being in class with Shannon because I was just getting songs all the way around. And then besides that, Madeline started school, and she had a good 3 days, and I don't know what she's doing. She's mad because I won't let her out, but there's nowhere to go. Thanks,
For those
Lou.
who are not watching the video, Amanda's cat
Right?
is like on her back,
Like on top
almost
of
on
me.
her head, giving her
Thanks, Lou.
kisses, rubbing up against her.
But being mad at me at the same time. She's like angry. So she's falling into me like, I'm going to express my anger this way. Okay. Anyway, yeah, that was that. Oh, we went out to dinner Wednesday with Matt and Julie to celebrate Madeline's first day. So that was fun. We went to Burgatory and had yummy milkshakes.
Nice.
And tomorrow is the Cash Bash that you won't be attending with me because you're a loser for cheer.
The party. I'm popular. Sorry.
Whatever. You'd have more fun with me, and you know it.
I don't know.
So
we'll see.
But I'm sure you'll have a good time at your other party. They're just
I
not
know.
as cool as I am. So, but yeah, that's my week. So, how about you?
And now you're getting
Just
attacked by a cat.
Ignore the tail. Seriously, I feel like, I mean, I guess you're the only person I really talked to like at length or whatever, but just like earlier this week, whenever we were on Zoom, my whole family had left me alone all day long. And then as soon as I got on the call with you, the dog like found, I didn't even get to tell you because we were in our meeting, but the dog found a squeaky ball, and that's what he came into the office with. And so I like got up and went into the kitchen and grabbed the cheese stick and was throwing cheese to like keep him that way away from me until I could lean down and grab the squeaky ball, so that as I was trying to interject anything, you weren't hearing squeak, 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 and being like, "What are you doing?"
That's so funny.
I was trying to keep it professional.
Animals.
Sorry if it didn't work that well. And now this cat loves me. So, did you hear that Cookie was on? Are you jealous? She heard me say hi to Cookie.
I
You wanna
think
be
so,
famous?
yeah.
You want to be famous too?
Which one is that?
That is Lulu, which is appropriate, I guess, for our
that's
show,
why.
right?
That's why. Because
No.
we were just complaining about you, baby. I'm sorry.
But you're not really that smart. She's giving you more credit than you deserve. But we'll pretend like that's what it was. You heard me say Lulu and thought I meant you. Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah.
So anyway,
last Saturday, we went to the Red Sox were in Pittsburgh. And so we went to the game, and it was actually my Grammy's birthday. It would have been her 89th birthday. And so, of course, we had to go. And the Pirates won Friday. They won Sunday, but the Red Sox won on Saturday for nothing.
Oh, nice.
And so,
nice.
And it was really good. We had seats. We've realized we've sat in almost every area of the ballpark. So we started to identify like where we have not sat yet. So we're going to try to do that. But
cute.
It's also the 25th anniversary of PNC Park. And so they had these little replicas was the promotional giveaway. And they're like really nice.
Cool.
Yeah. And it was funny because the kid's dad and I, my ex, had gone to the implosion of Three River Stadium. And so like I talked all about that. And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, that was 25 years ago. I know. It doesn't feel like
That's
it, does it?
crazy. That's crazy.
Well, and then you start to think about it. So that happened in February 2001. That was like one of the last pre 9/11 things.
Oh, yeah.
Because 9/11's 25th anniversary is next month.
Right.
So it's like when you start thinking that way too. But yeah, so I mean, it was fun. We went out to dinner beforehand, and then, you know, we had a little cheers to my gram, and I wore my Boston. My daughter wore her Boston. My son wore his Boston, and JD wore his Pirates. But there was a guy behind us that I'm very enthusiastic. I'm not obnoxious. I am not obnoxious. But when there was a good play, like home run, and
Right.
like, yeah.
I mean, you're at a
I'm
sporting
not
event.
talking
That's
through
kinda
the
what
whole
you're
thing,
supposed to
you
do.
know, but I was the only one around us that like, yeah. And this guy was like, "You a Boston fan?" I was like, "Yeah." And so we talked a little bit, but I feel like they're one of the few teams that you tend to have a good mix of people from both sides, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was almost sold out. It was a very, very packed game. So I was really, really glad that we won on my Graham's birthday, though. So
Nice.
I would have been happy either way. I was raised where Pittsburgh and Boston play each other, and we're happy either way. So,
Very cool.
and then my daughter and I went to our local conservatory botanical garden called Phipps on Tuesday, and they have an Alice in Wonderland display.
I want to
it's
go
like-
to that.
It is, you have to go. It's ending in September, and it's so cute. And they do
Okay.
a really, really nice job of having, like, each room has a different setup, and it's so cool to see art done in that way. So
Mhm.
it's cool. And then she worked a good bit this week. I had a good bit of work this week. My husband had his annual fundraising gala for his company this week, and it's a lot of work. And so that's why earlier when he came in, like he looks like he just got hit by a truck.
You were so kind to him.
Well, I'm also acknowledging, like, I mean, I didn't mean it like in a mean way, but I'm like, you're tired. So, yeah, it's a very, very busy week for him. So, and then, yeah, you just said what I'm doing tomorrow night, but I'm not going to talk any more about it because then what if I don't have anything else to talk about next week?
That's fine. I was just pointing out the fact that you abandoned
I know.
me to
I
go do
know.
something else. So
I know. I miss us doing our gambling events.
I just said, so they're not
I
having
don't
a
feel
very
like there's
good.
as many.
There's not as many, and for this one in particular, they just didn't pick a good day for it because it's still a lot of college move-ins, and so there's a lot of families that can't participate because of that. And I don't know what else is going on, but I'm probably just parents being exhausted from the first week of school, so they don't want to go out and do anything. You know,
It's a lot. We just started. Okay, and now you're already wanting me to do something?
right, exactly. So they're not having as large of a turnout as they had hoped for. And I said to one of the other moms, like, I don't want to be in charge, but I would help plan a night at the races because I really do think, I mean, that's my personal preference, but I don't want to sit and just wait for someone to pull numbers. I want action
Yeah.
and excitement. Whenever it's a night at the races, I'm picking my horse. It's funny names. Let's make jokes about them. Okay, I bought my horse and now I get to watch something where I can scream and be obnoxious and be like, yeah, I hope it wins.
Right.
And then there's like the fun of it. For a cash bash, you're literally just sitting there waiting for them to pull like bingo balls essentially and tell you a number, and then you're waiting another 15 minutes. All there is to do in that time frame is to spend more money, which I know makes sense to them as a charity, but as a person, I don't have that much money to entertain myself for all of those hours.
I am
just
more likely to
buying extra
spend
things.
the $1 to $2 betting on the horses, winning on a horse,
Right.
to then re-spend that money on another horse, and I walk away with maybe $20, rather than, because I'm absolutely more willing to do that than
Right. And that $20 that you're
it's like
walking away
bingo,
with,
too. Yeah.
you're not actually walking away with because you bought a thing for the raffle baskets and you probably bought a thing for the alcohol, whatever they gave away and whatever.
Yeah.
So you don't really come out ahead, but you don't feel like you lost that much because it was like an experience, not just sit here and wait. So I don't know. The person that I said it to is higher up than I am. So maybe she'll say something and I would be happy to help plan it. I just don't want to be in charge. Like, I don't know how to run one of those things. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed. And then if they do that, then
I agree.
And all of our Pittsburgh every year for the chamber.
Right. We could have an entire table and name all the horses after GH characters.
Oh my gosh, that would be great.
Just saying.
Oh, that's a beautiful idea. There you go. Yes. All right. It'll be, if I get the cat or if I get the night at the races next year, that's the plan.
Yeah. I mean, I only go to the chamber cash bash. That's in November because that's just more of a habit. And the past couple of years hasn't been the same as it had been, but like we made it a party, you know, like my group of people had our table. And even last year, we didn't have the same kind of vibe. And then my friend passed in February. So I really don't know if I'm going to go because he was kind of like one of the last that was still in the group from when it was fun. So I don't know if I'm going to go.
Yeah. I'll start looking for another night at the races for us because we like those. But, and also night at the races, you have to be there to win because you have to place the bet on the horse.
Yep.
Cash bashes, I know usually like it's a bigger prize at the end if you're actually there, but you can just pay your whatever it is and then you still have a chance at winning. So you actually save money by not going versus going. So I don't know. But
I hear you.
I don't know much about fundraising. I just know how I like to waste my money gambling and I want some entertainment value out of it.
I agree though. I think that's,
But yeah, anyway.
Yeah. So join us on Thursday as we talk about how more characters age weirdly in our part 2 of the soap opera rapid aging syndrome, also known as SORAS.
Beautiful. Have a good week.
And we'll meet you at the pier. Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review. And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.